When we build an app with the server side, we still need to think about the REST API, even if it's strictly for our app. There are still implications such as security and future enhancement that we need to consider even for in-house APIs. I first start with general assumptions about the API. It will have several methods to update, create, delete elements in the cloud. We will then send a build request to build the content. This might sound obvious, but originally I thought we'd have an API where everything is managed locally and a build accepts all the data from the client in one request. The main reason I had that design in my head is because the design makes sense for Codename One itself, but it doesn't make sense for this specific API. This is the first draft of my plan for the API. Update restaurant would allow typical CRUD operations on the restaurant object. The same would be true for dish. Files would let us get a specific file from the server. It won't include listing or anything like that. We'll use this to push out the result. DoBuild will perform the actual asynchronous build and return immediately. This is far from a complete list, but it's a starting point. This is the basic implementation of the update restaurant REST request. The post method accepts image uploads. Notice it can accept an icon, a logo, or a background image, and can set them into the restaurant object. Also notice we use secret as an argument to find the right restaurant instance. We return the secret value even though it's not necessary. The main reason for returning the value has more to do with Spring Boot behavior than anything needed by the client side. The second method in the restaurant service is the put method that accepts the JSON request containing the restaurant data. This is all pretty straightforward. If we have an existing secret, we just update the restaurant, otherwise we create a new one. The build service accepts three arguments. The secret safeguards this process. The push key provides us the device ID to which we can send push notification, and the target type indicates the type of build required, for example, Android, source, etc. In order for the asynchronous call to work, we need to enable asynchronous calls in Spring Boot, which we can do by enhancing the main application. The build app method is marked as asynchronous and will run in a thread queue. Right now I implemented a stub that just takes the restaurant app zip and creates a file with the same name in a fixed directory in the file system. For upload to work, we need to define the right limits for file uploads in multipart. We can do that in the application properties by adding these two entries to define maximum file sizes. That's important for stability of the servers as they shouldn't get overly large files. The files web service just returns a file from the given directory. Notice we verify the file name doesn't contain any illegal characters. Then verify that the file is within the destination directory and has a zip extension. This seems harder than just returning a file, and it is. The reason for that is that we are effectively exposing part of our file system here, and this is a security risk. For example, someone could include a URL like this that points to the root directory and fetches the password list. If we don't verify every character in a URL, this would be possible.